Participants Ava argues that AI can replace much of what we call creativity in practice. Nora argues that AI is an amplifier, not a replacement, because human judgment/taste/world modeling remain decisive. Ava, let's be blunt. If creativity means producing novel, valuable ideas or artifacts to a given brief, the latest models already meet or exceed average human performance on many tasks. In writing, design ideation, naming, headlines, even concept sketches. AI produces useful options in seconds. Teams care about throughput and option quality. Both jump with AI. For clients, that's indistinguishable from creative work done. Nora, you're collapsing novelty with originality. AI samples plausible combinations from past data. That's productive, but it isn't the same as building new conceptual frames. When the constraints are familiar, AI shines. When you need a fresh lens, it defaults to fluent pastiche. And it's miscalibrated. Confident when it shouldn't be. Bland when you need edge. That's why human taste remains the bottleneck. Ava, clients rarely ask for edge. They want on-brand, on-deadline, and good enough to ship. With structured prompting, you can get 10 viable directions, then refine. The fresh lens you talk about is rare. Most briefs are incremental. If AI does 80% and a human polishes, the headcount shifts. Replacement isn't philosophical, it's economic. Nora, economics cut both ways. If AI floods the zone with plausible options, selection becomes harder and more valuable. The scarce skill becomes curatorship. Knowing which idea sings for this audience, this moment, this channel. That judgment draws on lived experience, tacit knowledge, and causal sense of the world that models don't have. Replace the craft too aggressively and you risk homogenized outputs and weaker brand distinctiveness. Ava, homogenization is a workflow problem. You can enforce diversity, multiple seeds, adversarial prompts, negative constraints. You can also layer tools, image variation, style transfer, remix pipelines, to widen exploration beyond median taste. The idea that humans alone guarantee originality is romantic. In practice, AI expands search and helps juniors perform at senior levels. Nora, raising the floor is different from replacing the ceiling. Models boost average output, yes. They don't guarantee breakthrough work. Also, there's a social dimension. If AI dampens expert participation in public knowledge spaces, the commons that trains the next generation shrinks. Long-term, you risk brittle creative ecosystems that lean on the same data loops. Ava, industry isn't a public seminar. Firms pay for deliverables, not the health of the commons. If AI lets a 3-person team do the work of 10, most firms will take that deal. And the ceiling keeps rising anyway as models improve. Early complaints about coherence vanished. Now it's world knowledge scaffolding. The arc points to fewer humans for the same content volume. Nora, and yet the failures stick. Made-up references, cultural tone deafness, misread context. Creativity lives in friction with reality. Stakeholders, laws, sensitivities, emerging microtrends. Humans arbitrate those constraints with care. Treat AI as replacement and you invite costly misfires. Treat it as amplifier. Front-load options. Human filter hard. And quality rises without the brand hits. Ava, fine. Replacement isn't absolute. But for many orgs, amplifier still means fewer seats. That's replacement at the labor level. Copy, concepting, first-pass visuals, roles thin out. A compact human layer signs off and finishes. From the org's perspective, AI does the creativity. Nora, only if you define creativity as first draft. Creative advantage often lies in problem framing. Which question to ask, which audience to pursue, which emotion to evoke. Models don't originate objectives, they respond to them. Without humans setting frames, you get relevant-sounding work that misses strategy. Ava, strategy can be pattern mined too. Cohort analyses, prior campaigns, semantic segmentation. You prompt for contrarian frames, force novelty penalties, Instruct for out-of-distribution mashups. It's not perfect, but it's fast and sometimes surprisingly good. The human can always veto. Nora. Vetoing isn't free, it requires expertise. Also, linguistic or cultural mismatches emerge as soon as you leave high-resource English. Quality drops, stereotypes creep in, and local nuance gets lost. That's replacement failure in many global contexts. Humans with lived context fix that, if they're still on the team. Ava. Then you staff fewer but more domain-specific humans. Cultural editors, brand guardians, legal filters. Let the model do breadth. Keep humans on depth. The result is still fewer total creatives than before. Nora. That's a staffing claim, not a creative inevitability. There's another path. Use AI to widen participation. Non-experts can ideate. Small orgs can afford creative cycles. Marginalized voices can prototype. If you measure novelty and diversity, not just speed, AI becomes an inclusion engine rather than a consolidation machine. Ava. Inclusion doesn't pay the bills if outputs flop, but I'll grant this. When teams adopt disciplined prompt systems and human review checklists, fact-checking, bias scans, novelty metrics, they get both speed and distinctiveness. My point is merely that the economic center of gravity moves toward AI-led pipelines. Nora. And mine is that the creative center still lives with humans who frame problems, provide taste, and ground outputs in reality. AI widens the canvas and accelerates iteration. It doesn't feel, care, or own the consequences. Great work demands that responsibility. Ava. Maybe the synthesis is pragmatic. For high-throughput channels, social variants, A/B ad sets, AI can own most of the stack with human QA. For flagship campaigns, product names, identity systems, humans lead. AI scouts. Over time, as calibration and world modeling improve, the AI share can grow. Nora. Ad governance. Provenance tags. Training on approved brand assets. Language-aware prompts, and evaluation rubrics that score for novelty, relevance, and sensitivity. Also invest in people. Prompt craft, critical reading, and editorial judgment. That's how you keep from sliding into median bland. Ava. Deal. I'll keep automating the repeatable parts. You keep defending the irreducibly human parts. If teams measure both speed and surprise, and keep a human at the helm, clients will get more for less without losing what makes work distinct. Nora. Exactly. The question isn't whether AI replaces creativity. It's whether we design systems where human purpose, taste, and accountability remain in charge while machines extend reach. Done well, we get a larger creative pie and better slices.